start. May I also suggest for the consideration of the House that while members here represent their constituencies, they represent something more. Each member is not only a member for this or that area of India, but a member for India as a whole. He represents India, and at no time can he afford to forget this basic fact that India is more than the little corner of India that he represents. This is more necessary when we have to face certain forces which may be called separatist. People's attention is being diverted to local preaching, state and provincial problems, and they are forgetting the larger problems of India. It has been my good fortune and privilege to travel about India a great deal and often to go abroad. I have had that good fortune perhaps more than most members of this House. As a result, I am constantly compelled to think in larger terms, not only in a national terms but in international terms. I see the picture of India in that larger context. Perhaps my travel has helped me to see events in the true perspective. As I travel about India, I feel excited by its moving drama. There are, of course, many things I do not like, but it is inspiring to see India moving today as if by the dictates of some destiny towards its goal. I submit to the House that we can see this better if we go abroad and see this country from some distance. There are many people in the wide world who also are beginning to see the drama and adventure of what is happening in this country, how we have got over great problems and great difficulties. It is true that we have been rather proud abroad, but we are judged in the measure in which we have succeeded in the past. We may argue about the boundary of Bihar or Bengal or Orissa. We may regard these questions as important, but the word important is a relative word. There may be things which are more important, and we must not lose ourselves in passionate excitement over the boundary of a state. We must take a total view of India, her history, constitution, conviction or otherwise, and remember that a person, whether he lives on this side of that boundary or on that side, has the same national problems and the same protection of progress according to his own light. There may be disputes over matter, but let not this larger objective sometimes lost sight of. This should not be done for larger national interest. This budget has been formulated against the background of strong recovery in national income and agriculture and an equally impressive improvement in our balance of payments. These and other developments in the economy have been covered in detail in the economic survey presented to the House a couple of days ago. I shall therefore be brief in reviving the current economic situation. In order to fulfill our social commitments and protect jobs, government had to take over a large number of sick units and sustain them through injection of fresh resources. While some of them have turned a corner, a large number of them continue to incur losses. The time has come to undertake a careful review of the performance of sick units in the public sector with a view to reducing the drain on our resources. This the government proposes to do. Economic viability must be the principal test for the survival of an enterprise. Honorable members will recall that when our government took office in January 1980, an important task before us was to revitalize the planning process and to give a new thrust to the programs of development. Within this aggregate, plans of individual states show a varied picture. Some states have managed their finances well. They have been able to raise additional resources and effectively utilize these to implement adequately seized plans providing development and growth to their people. Unfortunately, some states, for reasons of their own, have used their resources for various other purposes. They have not invested their resources, including additional resources mobilized for development, and have also resorted to large overdrafts. Unfortunately, despite these measures, some states continued to rely heavily on overdrafts even after March 1982. Their proposed deficits at the end of March 1984 would have harshly affected the size of their plans if these deficits were adjusted against next year's plan as per normal practice. In seeking ways of overcoming this problem, on the one hand, no finance minister of the country stopped